What's up, Elevate 78? How are you? Raising the question, why do we ask questions on videos unless you're really answering? Well, we really do care. We want to know how you are, and we miss you. We want to see you Wednesdays. Did you know that we're meeting here on campus on Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. out on the lawn? Yep, outdoors. It's warming up. We've got a little bit more daylight. If you haven't been with us, come on out. We sit in small groups and it's pretty good, 5 to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. All right, we're in our series called The Four Betters because Jesus instructed us to love God most of all and then love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And someone said, who's my neighbor? And Jesus said, well, it's actually the whole world, even strangers that you don't know. So we want to know how to love God, ourselves, others, and the world better. And we're on this issue of loving ourselves. And I get to talk to you today about the issue of popularity. Because that's something that I worried about when I was in middle school. And you might worry about being popular or that you're not popular today. And I'm going to let you know a little secret. Even adults sometimes worry about being not popular. So what does the Bible possibly have to say about popularity and the value of popularity? And to understand this, we're going to talk to you today a little bit about songs and music. Because just because a song is popular does not mean that it is good. And just because a song was popular does not mean that the song has great value. And to illustrate this, I'm going to talk to you guys about some songs that maybe you've heard of that were popular, but they're not very good. Now, unfortunately, YouTube will not let me put in clips of these songs because it will detect, this song doesn't belong to you, you didn't pay for it, you can't use it. So I'm going to be describing these songs. If you come on Wednesday, we'll actually play clips of these songs because we can do that. All right, so take for instance, in the early 80s, there was this song, and your parents would know it, called She Blinded Me with Science. Okay, I would love to be able to play a clip of that song, but you guys, it's as bad as you can imagine a song with that title being. She Blinded Me with Science. And there's this guy in the background who's just annoyingly keeps shouting, science, science! And then there's all these synthesizers and stuff like that. And you say, how in the world was that a popular song back in the day? Well, I'll tell you how. Because synthesizers, which is like when you play a piano but it comes out sounding like, they were a big deal in music. And so in the early 80s, this song comes along, and for whatever reason, people wanted to listen to it. But I'm going to tell you today, I mean, some people still like that song. It's a super annoying song. And so even though it was like a hit back in the day, it was popular, it is not a song that you find a lot of people listening to today. Tub Thumping by a group called Chumbawamba. In 1997, it was a #2 hit. It was the second most popular song in America, and you heard this everywhere. And I think it's made it some movie soundtracks and stuff like that. And if you go to soccer stadiums today, they still play it. Let me tell you, that's the only place you hear that song. That's the only place you want to hear that song, because it's the one where they go, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. And they repeat that like 40 times during the song. Oh my goodness, you ask yourself today, how is this ever a popular song? How about this one? Never gonna give you up, never gonna... Yeah, it's by a guy named Rick Astley. It was a #1 song in America back in like 1987, and now it's just, people laugh at it. It's this thing that people send in memes, and it's called getting rickrolled. So it went from popular to a song that nobody wants to listen to today. And there's other songs like I'm Blue, Da-Ba-Dee, Da-Ba-Die. The list just goes on and on. So my point is this, that there were songs that were popular at one time that we look back on now and we go, oh my gosh, that was not a good song? Why did anybody ever pay attention to that song? And the answer is often because that song copied the style of another song that was popular. And so songs don't remain popular for very long, and then other songs take their place. And sometimes we look back 20 and 30 years later and we go, oh my gosh, that song was popular, but it wasn't very good. Now, let me give you the reverse. Sometimes there's songs that when they come out, they're not popular. They're not what we call #1 songs. But enough time goes by, and all of a sudden, everybody knows that song. And you know some of these songs. How about We Will Rock You by Queen? Boom, 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 boom. I mean, you play 3 seconds of that song and everybody knows what that song is and they can totally sing along. Do you know that when that song came out, it only hit number 36 in the top 100 songs in America. It was not a popular song when it came out, but now we look back and we go, wow, that's a really cool song. Okay, how about this one? Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. I mean, it was kind of a popular song, but it wasn't a number one song. It only hit number 9, but now everybody hears that song and they go, that's a great song. We want to sing that song forever. There's a song called What a Wonderful World. You know that song. It's sung by a jazz trumpeter named Louis Armstrong. He's got this kind of gravelly voice, and he sings, what a wonderful world. I see trees of green and clouds of white. I mean, everybody knows that song. Do you know that that song was not a hit when it was released? But now we look back at it and go, good song. Thriller by Michael Jackson. Everybody knows Thriller. It didn't hit number 1. It only hit number 4 back in the day. But now everybody recognizes, wow, cool song, great song. Isn't She Lovely by an artist named Stevie Wonder. He wrote it about his baby girl, isn't she lovely? And it was not a hit. It wasn't even released as a hit. The company didn't even think like, oh, people are going to want to listen to this. And guess what? They did. So my point is this. Here's my point. My point is, just like a song, don't strive to be a popular person. Strive to be a good person who will stand the test of time. That in 20 or 30 years, people will look back at who you were when you were in middle school, and they'll look at who you are 20 and 30 years from now and go, that's a good dude, that's a good girl, that person's a good friend. There's quality to them, because just because something is popular does not mean that it is good. And let me point you to a couple points in the Bible that's really important to know about you. Yes, you watching this video, okay? Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning, when God creates everything, verse 26, God says, now, let us make humankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over the creatures that move along the ground. So God created humankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. You're created to be like God. And you bear, and all people bear, this thing called the image of God. We don't know exactly what that is, but it's pretty special. And it means that it is in you, it's a part of you, and you were God's idea. And that leads me to the second thing. You are an original. You're an original. Even if you have an identical twin, okay, but you know you've got your own thoughts. You are an original. And that means there's value to you because there's no one else who's just like you. Listen to what Psalm 139 says. It says, God, you created my inmost being. You knit me together when I was in my mother's womb. I praise you, God, because I am, here's the phrase, fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Can you say that about yourself? Would you say that about yourself? I hope you would, that you would believe that God didn't make a mistake when he made you, but that the way that you're wired, the way that you are created to be is fearfully and wonderfully made. In other words, that people should step back and just go, wow, you're an original, and I'm so glad that you are. Third thing, as this person who bears the image of God, fearfully and wonderfully made, you're expected to love other people. But guess what? You can't give away something that you yourself don't have. And so you need to respect God's creation. I mean, just like you don't go out and pollute rivers and pour gasoline into the ocean, and you don't needlessly, cut down trees or abuse animals, you got to respect the person that God created you to be so that you'll have love to give away to everybody else. Listen, I know it's easy for me to say I'm an adult, but don't worry about popularity. Popularity does not translate to goodness or value. Things can be popular now, but in the long term, they show themselves not to be good. So you just hang on and try to develop the goodness that God has given you. You meditate on, that means you think on good things, and you try to be a good person, not a popular person. And God wants that for you. And we want that for you. And if you feel like you're at the bottom of the heap, you're not popular, who cares? Because in time, things will change. Things will change. And popularity, it's In the long term, it's just not worth that much. Hey, we want to accept you. We want to surround you by people who accept you and love you and value you for who you are. Not who you're trying to be or how you register on the popularity meter, but just who you are. If you've been craving that kind of thing and you need those kinds of friends, come out and join us on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. Or if you can't make Wednesdays at 5, have your parents reach out to us and we'll find another group that you can join here on campus during the week. Have a great week.